His name is Gus McGraw. How would you like having this guy work for you? Before you decide, you'd better think twice. What are you judging him on? How do you know he isn't the best you can get? I'm Frank Fairman, contractor. And I have to answer those questions because tomorrow I have to decide whether or not to hire Gus McGraw.
I know. Yeah, I know. I was out there all day.
Gus used to work for Pete Petty.
What do you know about Gus McGraw?
Frank, you don't know that hardhead. I bitched at him till I was blue in the face. It didn't make a dent.
Maybe you were scared of McGraw.
Scared? I let him know right off if he ever crossed me, I'd fire him.
And did he?
He did, and I did. I don't know why you want to talk to him.
I need a good operator. I hear he's good.
He's an operator, all right. All Gus McGraw wants to do at night is chase women and drink beer.
We fired guys for that. I'd lose about half of them.
You'll see. Just cross him. You'll see.
The conversation worried me some. I know that Pete is one contractor who never seems to be able to hold a good crew together. Still, I don't want to get stuck with Gus McGraw if Gus is the hardhead Pete says he is. I've taken an educated gamble, put in a bid, and landed the biggest contract of my career. I've been lining up rental equipment to add to my own machines, but I'm going to need 2 operators besides myself. If things go well, I hope to keep them on a permanent basis. I haven't always been lucky in that area. I'd had a one-man operation. Then I began hiring occasional help. With the first man, I was a compulsive do-it-for-him type.
Hey, watch it! You're spilling a lot of that! Doing that, I wouldn't dump so hard. You don't like the way I was doing it, do it yourself.
He quit just when I needed him most. Well, I thought I'd learned a lesson. The next fella I hired was supposed to be more experienced, so I left him alone. I never told him anything except get on with the job. We had so little communication that once, when I was away on another job, I came back to find he'd spent all day leveling a piece of ground that was supposed to be sloped.
What's going on? You're supposed to slope this thing. Well, you didn't tell me what you wanted. Well, I thought you knew what was going on. If you don't like my work, I'll just quit. Oh, that's great. Fine.
We parted with hard feelings between us. One machine I was going to rent cheap from Thor Erickson, the first contractor who ever employed me. He'd been a good man to work for, and since he kind of took an interest in me, I got to telling him my problems.
Nowadays, Frankie boy, you can't compete unless you got a good handle on every aspect of your business. And that includes the people working for you. You know why?
I'm listening.
Well, listen good. I found over the years that owning costs for a machine are only a small part of my expenses. Most are operating costs, and that includes wages. Well, those operating costs are related to the people earning the wages. Poor operators or guys who abuse the machines can send costs sky high. If your people aren't conscientious and productive, the best machines in the world won't make you a plug nickel.
I want good men. I'm willing to pay the wages.
Sure, they want money. Every worker does. But I'll tell you something. I've heard Marie here going around whistling, happy in her job. Isn't that right, Marie?
If you say so, boss.
Yet I know some executives that got big corner offices and all, and they're still miserable. What does that tell you?
Money isn't everything.
Yeah, well, you must be rich. No, but you're right. It's all in how they see themselves and their jobs. Now, Marie out there is damn important to me, and I see that she knows it and that I appreciate it. Now, that executive probably been made to feel that his ideas and his efforts aren't appreciated. So in spite of the big money, he still feels unimportant. Probably spends more time sitting around defending himself and his mind than he does working.
Yeah, but a guy shouldn't depend on other people to make him feel important or not.
Oh, you're so tough. What if I were to tell you off right now? Say, Frank, I haven't got time to talk with you. I only talk to people that are important. How'd you feel?
I'd feel like kicking you in your old caboose.
Well, I wouldn't blame you. But how about the people working for you? You remember that they have to feel important and liked? Now, a long time ago, I copied some questions out of a book, and whenever I get to feeling a little cantankerous, I drag them out. I'm going to ask Marie to run up a copy for you.
I joked about it, but I'd always respected the old boy's know-how. So the first moment I could, I studied that sheet.
Treating them as important persons. Showing that you care about them. Giving them credit for jobs well done. Sure didn't do that first guy. Listening to their opinions and ideas. Making clear what you expect of them. That last guy sure didn't do that. Making sure they know and share your goals.
From that list, I'd have to say I've been a poor manager. Still, it's hard to see turning myself into a phony backslapper. That's what it takes. Can't see it as my style. Maybe I just don't understand, or I'm just not the type to manage other people. That evening, our softball team had a game, and I forgot business for a while.
Okay, Dave, let him have it.
Well, we don't have a coach, but I'm sort of team captain. I make up the roster and batting order and so forth. We all talk over the game situation and get our 2 cents worth in. We razz each other a lot, and if the guy isn't trying, well, I jump on him.
All right, give it to him, Dave. Give it. All right, nice.
But we also boost each other a lot during the game. I do have regard for their feelings. If the pitcher loses one, I'm careful not to lay all the blame on him. I try to encourage him and help him keep his confidence. Fact is, I get along great with this ball team. Right then, it occurred to me. Who says I can't give someone a boost and a pat on the back? I do it at ball games all the time. Because I know it helps. Why don't I work with hired help that way?
Hi, hon.
That whole people management thing suddenly became clear to me. Operators that I hire aren't just guys that work for me. They're my team, too. In fact, except for the family, they could be the most important team of my life.
What are you talking about?
Our future. I didn't have a permanent employee yet, but I figured it's never too early to plan the team of your life. I had limited control over the wages I could start paying, but I did have control over 4 important things.
Hiring. Training. Keeping good people. Motivating good performance.
Hiring came first. And it started next morning. I got background information on each man. The attitude of the first one had worried me. After he left, I put in a phone call to his previous employer. Saved me trouble right there. I found out he was unreliable and often failed to show up for work.
Well, what he did the last job, if he left it, why, that sort of thing.
Not at all.
Yeah, I don't either. Nice.
The second man was Billy Ryan. We hit it off. In time, I hoped I'd make him feel that he was part of the business, that he had a stake in our success.
No problem there, huh?
No problem.
I got no problems either. Thursday? 7:30?
I hired him.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
The third man, well, there he stood, the hardhead himself.
Gus McGraw, right?
Right.
Sit down. Let's see, it's M-C-G-R-A-W?
He was the kind who watches, lets you do most of the talking, and doesn't say any more than necessary. But I kept plugging away.
Just about any time right now. You last worked for Pete Petty. Why'd you leave?
I got canned.
You don't beat around the bush much, do you? What happened?
Oh, some guys think they have to bark all the time.
Maybe you don't like being told what to do.
Depends on how I'm told.
Well, I don't always have time to be diplomatic.
You have time to be decent, don't you?
Yeah.
It dawned on me. In his own way, Gus was saying he had pride. Well, every man worth his salt has his pride. Instead of being turned off by his attitude, now that I was thinking like a manager, I began to see possibilities in Gus.
I'm looking for good, experienced operators who will really work with me. Not just for me, with me.
15 years at it. Some of the biggest outfits around.
I want somebody who's going to want to stay put.
I'm done with traveling. This is my town.
Let's get one thing up front. I got a lot invested here. Got a lot of debt to pay off. So I lay down the rules about the care and working of my machines. How does that set?
Sounds fair. As long as you're there on payday.
I'm there every day. Will you be?
Right as rain.
One more thing. If I can depend on you, I promise you can depend on me.
What does that mean?
Means I need your help. And I'll do whatever I can to reward it. Compared to some, this is a small outfit. What every man does on the job is important. Every man counts.
You can figure to count on me.
I don't have any spares, so when a machine's down, an operator's down. We don't want that to happen. I need your help in keeping up with scheduled maintenance.
It's my nature to want things done my way. But I decided to make training an ongoing thing. Discuss just one or two things at a time. I didn't insult their intelligence or experience, just made it clear what I expected and talked it over with them.
I think that's the surest way, don't you?
In the next few weeks, I discovered it's true that most people want to do a job well. I made it a habit to discuss projects with them and listen to their suggestions.
If that rain does hit, and we do these slopes first, we're going to be wallowing in mud down here. All right, we'll do the low area first then.
I found I had 3 alert minds on the job, and that really helped. As a manager, I took the time to line up more off-season work, municipal snow removal, private parking lot clearance, and some winter maintenance work. The object was to provide my key employees with work the year round.
This your crew here?
This is it, best three-man crew you find.
Okay, fine. Well, then I'll wait for your bid, Frank.
Good.
The interesting thing was, the more personal interest I took in Gus and Billy Ryan, the more important they became to me. And the easier it was for me to show it.
Frank? Billy? Yeah, listen, I may be a little bit late this morning. I just took Marie to the hospital, and I don't really know how long it takes to have a baby, so,
Now, listen, Billy, you just stay right there in the hospital with her. Now, Gus and I can handle everything here. And when you become a father, don't forget the cigars.
Yeah, my brand, El Cheapo.
Yeah.
One difference between a working man and a sports star is that the working man has nobody cheering him on, unless the boss does it. In my quieter way, I became their rooting section. Workers are quick to realize what the boss really thinks is important. Because they knew it was what I appreciated, Billy and Gus assumed daily maintenance responsibility for their machines and tried harder to do each job right the first time.
Got a Gus McGraw here?
That's me.
In return, I gave them pay raises when I could afford it. In time, we began to get bigger jobs, and I took on additional operators, always bringing them in as members of the team and continuing to be an encouraging manager. Some contractors use profit sharing. I considered that. Mostly, I kept them involved as part of my business. I asked their advice and let them know their efforts were appreciated.
Good along here.
Yeah, we should be finished up by tomorrow.
If you do, I'll open up a full keg in my house tomorrow evening.
You're on. Yeah, good deal.
Really, it's simple. The only change in my style is that I realize my employees are important to me. And I give them the recognition their importance deserves. Has Gus McGraw changed? No. He's still the nightly tomcat, still has a hard time dragging himself out of the sack in the morning. But the thing is, he does get up. And every morning, he's out there on time, ready and willing to work. I like the old cuss. And more important, he knows it.
How you getting on with that hard head? Still call him an operator?
Nope. It was of last week. I call him a foreman.
Oh,
Yep. With Gus and Billy and the other important people out there, I'm building the team of my life.